Live Alive was a JRPG released in 1994 that never actually left Japan. We missed out on an official English release, until now. Square Enix have decided to remake Live Alive with a modern 2.5D pixel art style. The question is, does Live Alive hold up today? The original game wasn't considered worth bringing to the rest of the world nearly 30 years ago. Can it really be that good? Rumours are it was originally planned to be in English, but through interviews Squaresoft revealed they didn't believe it would be successful, due to it having a lower graphical quality compared to other popular titles at the time. I've loved going back and discovering classics that I originally missed out on, like Chrono Trigger, and after just finishing Live Alive for the very first time, I now understand why this has been remade for a new audience. I can confirm this game is great. We've really missed out on something here. Live Alive is a series of 8 little stories, each with their own protagonist and antagonist, ranging from playing a ninja in feudal Japan to a robot on a spaceship in the far future. Each story is about between 40 minutes and 3 hours long. I'll be honest, with first impressions I was kinda dreading the look at some of the stories, like playing the caveman Pogo or the old Chinese man Shifu. But these actually ended up being entertaining and the most heartfelt stories. Every single one of these stories is at the very least good. Live Alive excels at storytelling and its character writing. I say that, but in the caveman era with Pogo, there actually isn't any dialogue. The cavemen haven't developed a proper language yet. But despite that, Squaresoft still managed to craft a really entertaining and charming story without the use of words or dialogue. One of the reasons I was so engaged with each story was that most have unique mechanics. The fighter Masaru enters fighting tournaments and can learn abilities from enemies. Akira has psychic powers and the ability to read people's minds. Obamoru is trained in ninjutsu and stealth. Pogo can sniff out and smell nearby treasures and animals, then craft equipment and tools through combining materials. Sundown the Cowboy is all about looting and setting up traps to fight off bandits that will siege a town at sunrise. The Earthen Master Shifu is looking to pass on his legacy, and he has the ability to teach and train others. There's Cube the maintenance robot, but I don't want to spoil anything about his adventures on the spaceship transport freighter, but it is surprisingly awesome and you're best playing this one blind. While the final stories play a bit more like a traditional JRPG, it's where all the stories connect together for an epic conclusion. I really was hooked and engaged in every single story. Cube's story set in the far future might be my favourite. The addition of voice-acted dialogue helped me connect with the stories and characters.
Well, if it isn't the mother himself! Wanna learn a trick or two? Alright, I'll teach you how it feels to get your ass beat by the best!
But I did also enjoy Masaru's story too. It's just a short but sweet fighting tournament. There's a unique interface to it like you're playing a fighting game. And I love trying to learn the opponent's special attacks, then using them to exploit the weaknesses of other fighters as you work your way up the ranks. It's really upbeat and a complete change of pace from other stories, with awesome battle music. So 8 characters, each with their own story. If you're a big JRPG gamer, that might sound familiar, because there's a very similar concept in a more modern Square Enix title, Octopath Traveler, which is also about 8 characters with 8 stories. I've got to be honest, I prefer Live Alive out of the 2 games. I felt a lot more engaged and connected to my characters from start to finish, and each character in the story felt a lot more unique, being in a different time period too. I've also went back and played some of the original Super Nintendo version for reference. The biggest obvious standout difference is the 2.5D pixel art style. I'm a big fan of this style. 2D sprites in a 3D world looks great, but the lighting effects illuminating the world and characters really takes the visuals to the next level. They're gorgeous. The battle system is decent. It's like your typical turn-based battles but with a twist. There's a grid, and moving your characters across the grid progresses time and brings forward other characters' turns. Some fights can be more methodical, and if you focus on leader-type enemies, you'll overpower and automatically defeat all other enemies on screen, which is pretty satisfying to pull off. Combat gets a lot more fleshed out in the final chapters, where the game becomes a bit more of a traditional JRPG, with more open exploration and more focus on party members. The soundtrack is solid too. My favourite piece is just the boss theme. This is from the makers of Final Fantasy, so of course the soundtrack is going to be good. I can absolutely recommend Live Alive. Storytelling and characters are and always were fantastic, and the 2.5D visuals and voice acting only makes Live Alive even better. If you play it, go for the true ending. It's worth the effort, and I think it's mad they never originally released this in English, but now's your chance to experience something that would have been a classic. I hope this Live Alive remake is successful, and I hope one day we get a Final Fantasy VI 2.5D pixel remake. Well, that's me caught up with my Nintendo Switch backlog, and I'm ready for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 now, which I'll probably be already sucked into once this video is released. So, peace for now.